Well, first of all, king f4, we thought it's a draw.
Yeah, it looked quite
Okay,
simple,
to
right?
start with. He went f4, but this is an amazing way of winning if it's winning, to come back to
So
e5. It's
counterintuitive.
completely a study-like position.
And I guess the idea after bishop g4 is bishop b7, and white's king is better placed than it previously was. But is it? Okay. So bishop
It
e2.
takes time for us
takes-
to
yeah.
understand.
Difficult,
Well, this is
complicated
not
ending.
good, I think.
Is the idea to play
So
king
is it king e4?
after bishop e2, maybe king
But
e4?
king g4 takes.
But now it takes black longer to push the f pawn, right? Because king e3, and you need to still move the bishop. So maybe bishop b7 here, bishop c6,
After. Ah,
and I take the
Sorry.
pawn.
wow.
I mean, this is deep. This is incredible idea from Magnus
Wow.
Carlsen.
It's hard to believe that it's a win, but already just the try itself is amazing to me.
Yeah.
And Magnus has 56 minutes, just in case, for all the calculation he needs. So now it is really all about, it's very difficult for Firouzja. Who would be thinking that in move 25, 30, when we reached out this completely equalish bishop endgame? Probably it's a win, because the black king cannot be reaching to d6.
Yeah. Firouzja looks flustered as well on the camera, just scratching his head there. King
Well,
e5.
After this game, he will not forget this game for a long time.
But it's really reminiscent of their game in Norway chess last year in this king and pawn ending. He just needed to
Yeah.
find the opposition, find the right square for his king, and because of the clock, panicked and self-destructed. So
And this is a Zugzwang.
yeah, black's bishop stuck at home. Bishop b7 coming next.
Magnus is trying to going here and the distance opposition and so on and so on. But in this position, I think in this game it was very different. The problem that in one hand probably he was hesitating, well, it's a dead row, then he didn't, he was not sure about it. But actually it is such an exemplary position, because if you just go back to really, it was move 24 when we reached this position. So there's plenty of time. And this shows how well you have to be structured and very, very focused, that if you have a drawish position, because in this position there was only one weakness of the game, a6 pawn. It was only one. And with one weakness, you should not lose the game. And little by little, Magnus, with his magic, he was just being extremely patient. So it is very clear that Alireza will know that he will be focusing on endgames desperately, because this is a, and you cannot say that it would be a shame to lose this position, because it could happen to anybody. When this king d6, king e5, it's amazing. Of course, he had to be calculating more. I think king f4 should be a draw, but by now I'm not sure about anything. But let's see if this is actually really winning, because now I think bishop d7 is a good idea, to give up the pawn with not having the king on the 8th in a very passive position.
At least keeping the white king out for now. But Magnus, I mean, he can take the pawn, he can get his bishop out. Even if he does it the long way around, I think Magnus now bishop b7, bring the white king to d4. At the right moment, push a6. The black king can't kind of hold its ground for the rest of the game, I think. So. Okay.
Well, let's see how, let's say bishop g2.
Yeah, definitely
king.
not rushing with that a pawn. Say king e3, I guess.
Okay,
Or
let's say
a6
I
there,
went
but-
to bishop d5, just to not to
Okay.
discuss it. We don't lose time.
Sure.
Okay, so what happens here? But actually, yeah, king e4.
Black bishop has to
And
sit on c8.
bishop
surely. a6 is
c8,
coming.
king d4, bishop a6.
Okay, so we just need the last zugzwang for white. Somehow. Maybe bishop e2. Just to
Yeah, bishop a6 is not possible to bishop f1, and then the black's losing the opposition.
Yeah, and you're only playing with the king now.
Well, still black will be fighting, check, here.
Okay. How about bishop a8 and then king d5?
Ah,
Or bishop
that's
e4.
nice.
Bishop e4 is nice.
Yeah, I thought bishop
it's
e4,
simpler.
bishop g6. But, well, white only has to solve this problem,
Yeah,
to rush to this way,
you
so...
will find a way to cross eventually. I
Okay,
think.
so after bishop e2, black has to go bishop d7.
And now a6.
I think a6 is
King
not good enough.
C6.
King c6.
Yeah, king c6.
King
try.
e3, king e5, a6.
King d4 now.
Yeah, he
Still
wins
winning.
again.
Still winning. Okay, he
But
chooses.
he plays king e4,
Yeah.
white to rush, and only
Controlling.
after that he will be taking on a6.
Yeah, controlling everything, and white's bishop won't be stuck on a6 for too long. King d6. You think he'll wait again? King d4. Really grinding out that that tiny minuscule advantage.
Well, this is the trademark of Magnus, actually.
True.
How many games he won that it's equalish, and then he's just having his patience.
That's how he
He
rose
sits
to the top,
there
right?
for like hours. He doesn't want anything, actually.
Yeah.
It's not that I think he's playing really for a win. He's just curious to see what is the position.
Yeah, he's patient as well. Slightly sadistic in that he likes to talk to his opponents, but yeah, he's mostly patient and enjoying the moment.
And Firouzja has 11 seconds, which will be not the biggest problem for him.
Yeah. Actually, Firouzja, I'm trying to think back to where he even allowed any chances. I'm surprised he let white play g5 in the first place without
Yes.
putting pawns on f6 and
F6
h6.
and h6, yes.
Because then the only way white,
Yeah.
I mean, white can never create any slight imbalance in general with the pawns. So yeah, I mean, Firouzja, obviously he's got the endgame knowledge, maybe just the thought process could be.
No, but this
he
is
worked on.
absolutely brilliant when he played king e5.
Yeah, I mean, beyond our radar, right? It's just, king e5. It's human instinct to just go for the pawns with your king, go for the bishop, but
And also imagining where Firouzja can go wrong, because obviously the endgame was drawish. He didn't have, I think we can say that he didn't have anything. Maybe 0-0-5.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Maybe a 5% chance of winning if
Yeah,
the
but you're
opponent
not
is wrong.
expecting at this level that you have real chances to win, because you have to make plenty of very small mistakes.
Yeah.
I mean, what you said, h5, h6 and f6, not to allow g5, that's kind of probably the best. After you allow g5, it's still not the end of the world.
Sure.
But then already you're sure.
The margin for error is tiny.
Yeah, it's getting, have to be more precise, and eventually probably maybe after, instead of f4, king f4 was the only draw. If it was, I'm not sure anymore.
No,
but
I think this imagination hits the nail on the head.
Psychologically, it's hard for Firouzja when he knows, okay, there was a 2-result game for the whole time, despite the fact he should make a draw, and knowing that suddenly he needed to be super accurate when that pressure wasn't on before. Okay, meanwhile, a few moves have been made. White's bishop has tied down the black bishop to its pawn, and at the right moment, white can just push a6. Maybe that moment is now. Okay, first
no, not yet.
Not
No
yet.
rush.
Why rush?
But after bishop e4 and bishop moves away, then a6.
Yep.
And
Actually, that's
he
far simpler.
already resigns.
And there we go.
I have a feeling that
Magic.
we will have a similar smile on Magnus's face, because he knows that, well, maybe not.
He'll save that smile for us, maybe.
Yeah.
At
I
the moment.
think he'll be very happy about this.